Hi, Caden. I'm back reading more of my book. I did two more scenes this week, so I figured I'm gonna knock these out tonight for you. This is the first of those two scenes, so this is scene three of the first book, in the first chapter. So, scribbling in one of her many colorful notebooks, the rose-skinned tiefling poked her tongue out thoughtfully, engrossed in her work. There once was a hero of frost who suddenly the carriage she was riding in hit a bump, causing her pencil to streak across the page slightly upward. Nearly got tossed? No, 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 that's awful. Sticking her head out of the window and glancing up at the driver, she playfully scorned him. Marin, you're making my rhyme all scoffle? See what I mean? You're making my lines unclean. Marin Vale chuckled up in his seat up front. My apologies, Mistress Bellamira. I don't mean to muck up your rhymes. The road is rough, I did warn you. Bellamira let out a suppressed sigh, rolling her molten gold eyes at his excuse. Just warn me next time, or you'll ruin my rhyme. She then ducked her head back into the carriage, careful not to let her wine-red curls get caught in the window again. Bellamira picked up the writing materials and went back to her work. There once was a hero of frost who guided the wandering and lost. Though rough in his tone, he carried them home, no matter the tempest they crossed. Finishing that line, Bellamira leaned back in her seat to admire her work. Was that a limerick about me, mistress? Bellamira smiled to herself. Why, yes. Do you think that was a miss? She poked her head out of the window with a bright smile, looking up at Marin. He looked back at her and shook his head in a slight smile. Oh, I'm so sorry about the rhyme, Marin. I know that you're probably tired of them at this point. I didn't fully mean to rhyme off of you, honest. Bellamira's usual bright smile was replaced by a more sorrowful smile. I'm sure you didn't, mistress. Marin turned back forward and extended his arm out in front of him. There you go, Vaelrun. Bellamira followed his arm and stared at the scene in front of her with bright, promising eyes. Vaelrun dominated the horizon, a brass and stone mirage. Big, beautiful brass buildings gleamed in the sunlight, smoke stacks sighing strongly, creating puffy gray clouds, rambunctious railways running randomly in the chaos of it all. Below the skyline sprawled a labyrinth of streets, carts, steam pipes, lanterns, and roads, packed so tightly that Vaelrun needed a bigger belt to keep herself together. And like I said, she's an ugly brute of a city, but she does grow on you, like rust. Or mold. Marin chuckled mostly to himself, never tiring at seeing people's first reactions. Bellamira, suddenly breaking out of her trance of the city, snorted in an unladylike fit of laughter. Rust and stone can be very textured, Marin. She'll be perfect for my inspiration. Swaying her head back into the carriage, she began to pack up her materials in her traveling bag. Marin laughed softly at her comment. She poked her head out again. Oh, and Marin? Rust and mold? I think I can make a poet out of you yet. After a few more minutes of ogling the city, Bellamira felt the cart stop a couple of streets in. Well, Mistress Bellamira, I think this is where I should leave you. Hate to interfere with your epic about Vaelrun. Getting out, Bellamira turned and glanced up at Marin one more time. Thank you so much for the ride, Marin. Truly, I shall write a whole verse about you. She stepped up on the first rung to Marin to give him a warm hug and softly kissed his cheek. Marin froze as if someone cast hold person on him. Clearing his throat loudly, he pretended not to be flustered. Jumping back down, and without ruining her bright outfit in the fall, Bellamira turned and widened her arms as if to take in the city one more time. I think that my story should begin here. Behind her, Marin smiled at her words. Oh, I don't doubt that. Just remember, mistress, cities like this one, they have a way of putting the right people in your way. Or the wrong ones. But you? Oh, I have a feeling that you can make something grand out of either. Turning back to face Marin, she smiled brightly. And I plan to. And it will rhyme. All the time. Marin hung his head in defeat and exhaled loudly. gods help us all. He lifted the reins and gave a gentle whip to his horses as he began to drive away, leaving Bellamira standing and waving to him as he left Vaelrun. That mare in Vale, he sure is a strange one. I like him. Spinning on her heels, she stared in awe of the city and soon-to-be story in front of her. Hands on her hips, she exclaimed, "Well, Bellamira, bright son, this is where your epic begins. Let's try not to muck this up." Picking up her suitcase, she began to rhythmically walk with an almost dancer-like style, swinging her loot case in her hand with her movements, stepping in time as she began to hum a lively, sweet tune, adding to the chaotic noises that surrounded her.